Before we begin, it's been COVID times, right? So I bought a new suit, brand new suit, the first time in public, and they ruined the line because my microphone's back here, but I put it back here so no one can see. So it looks okay? Is it okay? I just want to make sure. Thank you, and on behalf of my suit, thank you very much, on behalf of Lindsey too. So we're going to talk to you about entrepreneurialism, not really about Lockheed Martin, but it's important to know it's in Lockheed Martin because it can be anywhere, and that's really the point of what we're talking about. Lindsey's going to go and explain a few of the things we're doing, but again, this isn't a Lockheed advertisement. It's about learning about, very quickly, entrepreneurialism in space, which can be accomplished, small company, large company, whatever. It's just a mindset. So, Lindsey?
Yeah, thanks, Lon. So as you heard from his quick bio, serial entrepreneur, I'd say one of Lon's major roles at Lockheed and in life is to teach the rest of us how to be entrepreneurial. And so I'm one of those use cases. So I now am actually the program manager and running a new entrepreneurial kind of venture within LM. And so really the things, he's imparted on me, I've been able to actually apply into something successful, something creative, something innovative in the science and technology realm. And so that is Parsec. Parsec is our lunar communications and navigation service. So instead of, the way we typically do space missions, we're now trying to do it as a service. Really, we envision ourselves doing the internet or the mobile carrier around the moon. So really kind of cell towers in space, just making everything easier for the folks who want to do the real science and the great mission on the moon. We're trying to build the infrastructure so that they can focus on the really cool part. So that's really Parsec and what we're doing. And I think, some of the key things that have been challenges in doing Parsec and getting this off the ground is one, trying to do things differently, right? Especially as you try to get supporters and really folks that want to help you build this as a business, a lot of them don't understand the why or the how, and so it's a lot of selling people on your vision and your idea. And so for me, really believing in my idea, trying to be the expert at it has helped immensely. I can tell that story of why I believe in it to help other people believe in it. So that's kind of the first key. The second key for me was, and this I learned directly from Lon, was you have to make a decision, even with imperfect information. A decision and moving forward is better than no decision and just being stalled and paused. So that's kind of one of my biggest takeaways of being entrepreneurial is just make a decision with imperfect information. You can always go back and change it. You can modify it as you go along. Most of your decisions won't stick. They won't be the first thing you picked. But as long as you're making progress along the way, you're doing it right and you're doing it well.
And that's actually, let me pick up on that. So people think entrepreneurs are crazed risk takers. I mean, we all know about people who risked everything and they made $1 gazillion. It's just, it doesn't, maybe once in a while it happens. But for the most part, the successful entrepreneurs, the ones that are good, the ones that have continued success and serial success, are those who know how to manage risk. So first, let's talk about what entrepreneurialism is. It's really making a decision to go forward with an idea, even though you don't have all your resources committed. That's all it is. There's so many of these things that people wait, I need everything, I need to make sure I have everything ready and all the money and all that. That's different. That may be how you do certain government programs, that may be how you do other programs, but that's not being an entrepreneur. And that's why we say entrepreneurialism is alive and well at Lockheed Martin versus other places, because what we do, at least the entrepreneurial side, is that we have an idea. By the way, everyone, ideas are a dime a dozen. That doesn't mean you don't have a good idea, but then you got to test it. And that's what Lindsey was talking about, is that you have an idea, you have some resources, and then you start to test your idea. And you have to make decisions. And also you have to show it to others as well. Those are the risks, but the risks are incremental. And if you're good, you know how to manage a risk, and part of the risk is not doing anything. That's the one thing you don't do. You got to make smart decisions, you have to know what you're doing. Sometimes you won't make smart decisions, but if you do it incrementally, you can course correct. And that's effectively what entrepreneurialism, why can't I say this word? Being an entrepreneur is. So as far as going forward, you have to know that, one, there'll be people who will doubt you. Those are the people who are sort of watching, and believe me, it happens at Lockheed Martin, it happens anywhere. It's not just inside a large company. Small entities will doubt you. people you know who love you will doubt you. It's not about that. If you have an idea and then you see the momentum gaining, because first it's yours, then it's a small group, then it gets bigger and bigger. And the reason why it's happening is because what Lindsey said, you're making decisions along the way. You're having enough self-awareness along the way that you go, all right, 80% good idea, 20%, let's change course a little. And you keep on doing that, you gain momentum, you build value, and the more value you build, the more resources you get. The more resources you get, the faster you can go. And then if you're good at it, you can keep on going until you have developed something. And so to Lindsey's great credit, Lindsey's been running the Parsec effort, and that really just started as principally like, hey, we should really be doing something that we know people are going to need in the future, and that is communications on the moon. It's kind of like self-evident now, but like any good idea, first people think, any idea goes through 3 phases. First, it's like ridicule. Like who needs a communication system on the, that's ridiculous. And then the next part is hostility. We're not doing that. You can't do that. No one's going to pay for that. You can't do that here. I mean, it's the hostility is amazing, including the ignorance behind it, but that's the way it is. And then all of a sudden, it sort of keeps on going. You're not giving up. And then the last part is that, oh yeah, this is obvious, like, oh yeah, this makes sense. This is great. Any good idea goes through that. And it's just the nature of new ideas. Ridicule, hostility, because you're sort of disrupting things. And Parsec's not done with the disruption part of this. But we're also, at least inside Lockheed Martin, all bought in, we're ready to go. And we're in a very exciting situation. And it's all due to Lindsey. Lindsey?
On the ridicule, on the hostility front, another kind of key piece of advice I got was, don't listen to and don't accept your first no. Like you'll hear that a lot of the times on this way. A lot of people won't quite get it. They won't, maybe they want to push back on a little thing or have a little tweak. And it's all just a process of trying to convince them. And either you start to work with other people who do support your idea, you start to, get a lot more, I would say, yeses in the mix, or you win over those no's and you really transform the way they think. And that, I think 2 of the things that are the most exciting about being an entrepreneur is convincing those people. When you really see them turn around and think and like change the way they think, they are bought in. It's amazing. And then the second thing is kind of with the making decisions and just moving out. Also, don't be afraid to socialize your idea out there. So one of the best things you can do is like test the market, just external validation. Just throw some ideas out there with people. I always think I think this is needed for this way, but what about the people who would actually buy this as a service? What do they think? What do they need? Am I just convincing myself of something that's not even right? So that's kind of my other piece of advice is don't be afraid to just get it out there. Start talking about it with people. That kind of external validation is some of the best things you can do to test your key early decisions, test your assumptions, and then again, tweak them and continue going on into the future.
As an entrepreneur, that's a great point. As an entrepreneur, you have an idea, you want to go forward with it. And there's always that sense that, wait, if I tell these people they're going to steal it, or they're going to ruin it, or whatever. And it's like, it just doesn't happen. No one cares about you. And for the most part, no one cares about your stupid idea, all right? It's like, but then every once in a while, and this is when you got something, other people, if you explain it right, oh no, actually that's a good idea. And then you sort of form a group and a core, and it gets bigger and bigger. And yes, there's intellectual property to protect. It ain't at the idea stage, okay? What you're doing at the idea stage is you're showing it to people, showing it to other human beings who generally don't care about you. And the coolest thing, the most wonderful feeling is when you're talking to a stranger and you tell them your idea, and then they start glomming onto it, and then they start projecting what they would do with your idea if they can only do that. And then it's even cooler if they want to join you and all that. But that's how it happens. So as Lindsey said, just put it out there. And the other thing about this is, besides the fact that no one cares, is that you already have so much momentum. You've been thinking about this, but not only the big idea, but the parts of it. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? You have so much more momentum than almost anyone else you're going to meet. Yeah, you maybe come against someone who's also thinking about it. Just keep on going. It's just a race. All these ideas are just a race as who's going to do it first. And then if it's really good, there'll be room enough for others as well, which is, we're sure, at Parsec.
I was going to say, don't worry if others have a similar or the same idea, right? That's kind of that external validation, right? If someone else thinks it's a good idea, well, you might be onto something too. So yeah, again, a lot of things to not be afraid of. Don't be afraid of no. Don't be afraid of competitors, and just, have confidence in your idea and keep running with it.
Although it is this conundrum of the people who sort of want to stop you. If no one else is doing it, that's the stupidest idea in the world. If everyone else wants to do it, it's like, you can't compete with those people. So, no, actually, we can, we're going to, and also what people, and this just comes from experience, if you have competitors, all of a sudden they're not only validating your idea, but they're validating the market, and at some level your marketing budget is now cut back because others are promoting what you're doing. Just do it the best, and you'll probably win, although it's good when there's room for others as well, and say, oh, we don't mind competition. Everyone says that. Of course, we welcome all the competition. That's fine. And whenever you hear that, they really don't, but everyone says that because if they don't say that, then there's antitrust issues and all that. Anyway, so, and those are good laws too, by the way. I'm in favor of them. So let's see, is there anything else?
I think that was it, honestly. We just wanted to kind of inspire you guys, give you a couple, free tips on how to start to think entrepreneurially. And honestly, let us know your ideas, share your ideas with other people during all your breaks. Like, I'm sure they're great ideas. And, we would love to support you. I know, for instance, look for kinds of programs that can support your ideas. Like at Lockheed, we have something called the Ignite Accelerator. So there's like a team can go in, kind of all rules out the book, all processes out the book, like just do what you want to do, head down, see if you can make something out of it. So, maybe kind of where you guys are in your different institutions or universities, maybe they have programs like that too. So I would just, say maybe try to find them, check them out. They're great resources.
And there is a job fair that we're part of as well,
Yeah.
and also New Ventures always looking for new ideas too. That's what I do at Lockheed Martin, is building these different companies. One of them, most recently, the commercial space station. We're working with Nanoracks and Voyager, who are our partners. So we're doing some really cool entrepreneurial things at Lockheed Martin, and we just wanted to share that with you. But again, it's not about Lockheed. It's all out there. And I guess if I can leave you with one thought, having been in a number of small companies, and then Lockheed invited me in to do this, there's entrepreneurialism everywhere in space. And these opportunities are both in the large companies and also in the new startups and the cool small ones, whatever. It exists. Now, the larger they are, you need to ask if it still exists, can I be part of that? But it's all over, because there's so much going on in space, so many exciting things. We need this kind of attitude and spirit, and that's what we're trying to nurture both inside Lockheed and outside. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.